The ultra low-cost carriers, they might be the winners of this situation because they had very deep costs before the crisis. They could even remain some flights, especially in Eastern Europe, and they come from a lower basis and they know how to cooperate with airports, what also means how to get money from airports to fly from regional airports. To me, the most significant impact is that at the moment, nobody can look into the future. And future means 1, 2, or 3 years. Will the passengers come back? In which countries will they come back? That's also interesting for European flights, but for international, intercontinental flights as well. Will we have to go in quarantine? And how many passengers want that for a longer period? This is not a question of 2020. We can forget 2020 for the aviation, in global aviation. But will they come back, the passengers, 22, 21, 23? Nobody knows. And I think this is the biggest lack of data. And there is at the moment no real connection between the airlines and their passengers. They just don't know how to handle each other. I'm sure any airline that is on global aviation industry without state funding will not be in the future with us anymore. They all need money. That will be really difficult for years. For the small or medium-sized business, it will be important to get passengers back early, to fund money either from states or from your stakeholders. But without a good financial basis, it will be extremely difficult for any airline. And despite of that, every airline at the moment looks in packages like 10,000 people to be laid off. And that is really immense because the airlines don't know 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, what is necessary if you are really a big airline. And that is an extreme shift to any other crisis before. Some airlines in Europe think it is normal to employ people in a special country where everything is really low for the employer and also low for the one who gets the money. And then they send the people to other countries or to let them fly in other countries where we have higher standards. And I think that was a problem before COVID-19, and it will be a problem. And the passengers, they might be the ones who will put pressure on the airlines that it is not possible to continue this model. And of course, the governments will have to care for their people, because if we have state funding on one side and we have airlines without state funding, we still can care for social well-being. Of course, on a low-cost basis, you know, it's a low-cost carrier, then it won't be a high-cost payer. But for your wealth and for your being in a country you live and you serve, it must be enough. And I think that is something we should all care for as a passenger. There will be a push from COVID-19 in a certain direction. It means that low-cost carriers can compete with legacy carriers in the future, but it will be difficult for the legacy carriers to compete with the low-cost carriers because there's nothing left in their money box.